Imagine you're sitting down for a delicious dinner in New Delhi, India. The sun has set, and the city lights are twinkling. At that exact same moment, your friend in London is just rolling out of bed to start their day. How can one planet have so many different times at once? Who decided that India should be 5.5 hours ahead of UTC? Why isn't it a whole number like 5 or 6 hours? Or 7? And here's a real brain teaser. Believe it or not, there's a place on Earth where you can stand on one island and look across the water at another island where it's already tomorrow. It's like literal time travel. Welcome to Trivia Cauldron. I'm Ollie, and today we're uncovering the fascinating, sometimes messy, and absolutely essential story behind time zones. By the end of this journey, you'll never look at your clock the same way again. Hundreds of years ago, the concept of a time zone didn't even exist. Every single town, village, and city followed its own unique local time, known as apparent solar time. It was hyperlocal. Before mechanical clocks, people relied on nature. They used sundials, water clocks, and even burning incense to track the passing hours. But the ultimate master of time was the sun itself. People simply looked at the sun. When it reached its highest point in the sky, it was noon. If your town was just a few miles east or west of the next one, your noon arrived at a different moment. Because the Earth is a sphere, the sun hits each degree of longitude at a different time. In a world where the fastest way to travel was by horse, a difference of 10 minutes between cities didn't matter. Because the Earth is a sphere, the sun hits each degree of longitude at a different time. In a world where the fastest way to travel was by horse, a difference of 10 minutes between cities didn't matter. For example, in the mid-1800s, there were over 300 different local times in the United States alone. Every city hall had a clock set to the specific position of the sun over its own roof. Chaos was the norm. Life was simple, and clock sync was a luxury no one needed, until the arrival of the iron horse. The steam revolution was about to move faster than the sun itself. As railways expanded rapidly across Europe and North America in the 1800s, the speed of human travel increased dramatically. For the first time, people could cross dozens of local times in a single day. This created absolute chaos for the railway companies. Imagine trying to print a timetable where every station along the line was using a different clock. It was a mathematical nightmare for conductors and passengers. Worse than the confusion were the safety risks. Without a synchronized clock system, two trains could be on the same track at the same time, thinking they were minutes apart. Timing errors meant life or death. In the US, this led to the Day of Two Noons in 1883, when major railroads shifted their clocks to a new standard system. People in many cities saw their clocks jump back or forward by minutes in an instant. Time for our first trivia break. Question: which country currently spans the most official time zones? Is it A, Russia, B, the United States, or C, France? Don't let the map size trick you. The answer is C, France. While it looks small on a map, France includes many overseas territories around the globe, meaning it officially covers 12 different time zones, more than any other nation. The move toward global time zones needed a champion, and he arrived in the form of Sir Sandford Fleming, a brilliant Canadian engineer, surveyor, and prolific inventor. Fleming's obsession with time began after a frustrating incident in Ireland in 1876, where he missed a train because the printed schedule used PM instead of AM due to local time confusion. He was furious. He didn't just want to fix the railways, he wanted a universal time for the entire planet. He proposed dividing the Earth into 24 equal zones, each 15 degrees wide, starting from one single prime meridian. In 1884, delegates from 25 nations met at the International Meridian Conference. After much debate, they chose Greenwich, London, as the 0 point, or the prime meridian. The world was finally getting in sync. Why 24 zones? Well, it's simple geometry. The Earth is a sphere, representing 360 degrees. Since it rotates once every 24 hours, we just divide 360 by 24 to find the width of a time zone. The result is exactly 15 degrees. This means that for every 15 degrees of longitude you travel, the local time changes by roughly 1 hour. This mathematical rule is the bedrock of our modern timekeeping. Because the Earth rotates toward the east, places in the east see the sun first. That's why moving east usually means adding an hour, while moving west means you're chasing the sun and subtracting time. If the world were just empty ocean, time zone lines would be perfectly straight. But in reality, they zigzag all over the map to follow national borders and political interests. It gets complicated very quickly. One of the most common questions is about India. Why is Indian Standard Time 5.5 hours ahead of Greenwich, rather than 5 or 6? It all comes down to a clever compromise. India chose the longitude of 82.5 degrees east as its standard meridian. This line passes almost exactly through the middle of the country, near the city of Mirzapur. It was the perfect mathematical middle ground. Before 1947, India had multiple time zones like Bombay time and Calcutta time. After independence, the nation adopted a single time zone to unite its massive territory and simplify communication across the new nation. Having one standard time means that when it's 9 a.m. in Mumbai, it's also 9 a.m. in Kolkata, over 1,500 kilometers away. It keeps the entire nation's business, schools, and government in perfect harmony. Time for trivia. Break number 2. Which massive country follows only one official time zone, even though geographically it stretches across 5 of them? Hint: it's a very busy neighbor to the north. The answer is China. Despite being nearly 5,000 kilometers wide, the entire country follows Beijing time. This means in western China, the sun might not rise until 10 a.m. in the middle of winter. India isn't the only one that likes to be different. Several countries use offsets that aren't whole hours. This is usually done to better align the sun's position with the local workday and traditional noon. Nepal is one of the rarest cases, using a 45-minute offset. They are UTC plus 545. This was chosen because it more accurately represents the mean time of the capital, Kathmandu, relative to the sun. In Australia, the state of South Australia and the Northern Territory also use half-hour offsets, making travel within the country a bit of a clock-adjusting adventure for visitors and locals alike. Iran uses plus 330, and Afghanistan uses plus 430. These offsets were chosen by governments to ensure the center of the country is as close to solar noon as possible at 12 p.m. Now let's talk about the strangest line on Earth, the International Date Line. Located roughly along the 181st meridian in the Pacific, this is where one day ends and another begins. If you cross the line heading west, you gain a day. It suddenly becomes tomorrow. If you cross it heading east, you lose a day, effectively traveling back in time to yesterday. It's the ultimate jet lag. The line isn't straight because countries want to stay in the same day as their trading partners. Kiribati moved the line far to the east in 1995, so the entire nation could be on the same calendar day for the first time. The first people to discover this missing day were the crew of Ferdinand Magellan's expedition. When they returned to Spain after sailing around the world, they were shocked to find their logs were off by one day. Because of the date line, it's technically possible to celebrate your birthday for 48 hours. Just start on an island just west of the line, then fly across to the east side to do it all over again. Final trivia break. Where on Earth does the new day begin first? Which country is the very first to welcome the new year while the rest of the world is still in the previous year? The answer is Kiribati, specifically the Line Islands. Because of their extreme eastern position relative to the international dateline, they are among the very first human settlements to see the new day. Then there's the controversial one, daylight saving time. Many countries shift their clocks forward by 1 hour in the spring and back in the fall. The goal? To save evening daylight during the summer months. Benjamin Franklin actually suggested a version of this in 1784 as a joke. He wrote a satirical essay suggesting people wake up earlier to save money on expensive candles. He never thought it would become law. The real push came during World War I. Germany was the first country to adopt it in 1916 to conserve coal and electricity for the war effort. Britain and the US quickly followed suit to stay competitive. Today, the debate is hotter than ever. Recent studies suggest that the spring forward shift can lead to increased heart risks and car accidents due to sleep loss. Many countries are now voting to scrap it entirely. Let's look at some extremes. Russia is the widest country on Earth by time zones, stretching across 11 of them. If you take a train from Moscow to Vladivostok, you'll be resetting your watch almost every day. Antarctica is even weirder. Since all longitude lines meet at the South Pole, it technically has all 24 time zones at once. Most research stations just use the time zone of the country that flies in their supplies. The most mind-blowing fact? The Diomede Islands. They are only 2.4 miles apart, but Big Diomede is in Russia and Little Diomede is in the USA. The time difference between these neighbors? A massive 21 hours. In the US, Arizona doesn't use daylight saving, but the Navajo Nation within Arizona does. And inside that, the Hopi Reservation doesn't. Driving through can feel like a time-traveling puzzle. Spain is geographically aligned with the UK, but its clocks match Central Europe. Why? During World War II, the dictator Franco shifted Spain's time to match Nazi Germany as a political gesture. It never changed back. In our modern world, time isn't just for humans, it's for computers. Most digital systems follow Unix time, which counts the seconds elapsed since midnight on January 1st, 1970. It's the heartbeat of the internet. We no longer just look at the sun. We use atomic clocks that measure the vibrations of atoms. These clocks are so precise they won't lose a single second in millions of years. They run our GPS and banking. Because Earth's rotation is actually slowing down due to tidal friction, we occasionally have to add a leap second to our digital clocks to keep them in sync with the planet's actual spin. It's a constant adjustment. As we look towards space, time gets even weirder. Mars has a day that is 39 minutes longer than Earth's. Future colonists will need their own Mars time zones to stay productive on the red planet. On the International Space Station, astronauts see 16 sunrises a day. To stay sane, they follow one single time zone, Coordinated Universal Time, or UTC. It's the global standard for the final frontier. Some people propose getting rid of time zones entirely and having the whole world use UTC. Imagine 12 p.m. being the same moment for everyone, even if it's the middle of the night in some places. Would it work? Our planet may be one world, but time tells a million different stories. We've seen that time zones aren't random. They were born from the necessity of travel, the genius of engineers, and the quirks of politics. We've explored everything from the railway time revolution to the mathematical logic of the 15-degree rule and the strange anomalies like the international dateline and the future of time on Mars. Before we go, here's one last challenge for you. Which country has the highest number of official time zones? Put your answer in the comments and let's see who really knows their geography. If you loved this journey through time, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Trivia Cauldron for more deep dives into the world's most curious mysteries. We have so many more stories to tell. Thanks for watching, exploring, and learning with us today. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the cauldron of knowledge. Farewell.